grains of sand run short on NASCAR's fiercest points battle. 4 champions, 4 designs, 4 dreams, but only one trophy.
It has been all Mike Skinner leading from the drop of the green flag.
Hornaday has got something for these folks today.
Travis Kvapil very strong off the top of turn number 2. He will dust off Skinner into the corner. Here comes Todd Bodine like he was shot out of a cannon.
Poised for a clash, the drivers can feel the pressure mounting as the season fades away.
The gateway to the West is the site of the 17th race of the 2007 season for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Welcome to the Missouri-Illinois Dodge Dealers Dodge Ram Tough 200. Beautiful day here in the St. Louis area. Normally a night race, but today we're under the sunlight. It's 85 degrees, a sunny day, and a very light breeze out of the east. We take a look at our forward point standings through 16 races. It's Mike Skinner with a 92-point lead over Ron Hornaday. Those two will start 1 and 2 on the grid today. Travis Kvapil, Todd Bodine still in this title hunt. Rick Crawford rounding out your top 5. Hello everyone, Rick Allen alongside of Phil Parsons. Now we come to Gateway, and this is an extremely tricky track, Phil.
Yeah, we touched on it a little bit in the setup show. Completely different on each end of the racetrack. Turns 1 and 2 are very, very tight. Use all the brakes you have getting down in turn number 1, 11-degree banking. Then you go down a long back straightaway into a very flat, wide, sweeping turns 3 and 4, much like turns 3 and 4 at Phoenix. So 2 completely different ends of the racetrack. Most of the guys want to be good coming off turn number 2 because that's the slowest point in the racetrack. But in order to be good off of turn 2, you're going to have to be a little bit loose down in 3 and 4. So it's a real compromise here at Gateway.
Now, how big of a change is it for these guys when they come in here normally expecting a night race, and today under the heat of the sun, that's got to change the track surface as well?
It really does, and they really don't know exactly what to expect because when we start this race from start to finish, we're probably only going to have about a 3 or 4 degree temperature change. The track temperature will go down a little bit, but so most of the guys are really guessing a little bit as to what this thing is going to do during the daytime.
And so we are getting ready for, again, it's the 17th race of the 2007 season for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Let's go down for pre-race activities trackside.
Ladies and gentlemen, we ask that you please rise and remove your hats as we continue to honor our great nation. In the center pit area, presenting the colors for today's Dodge Ram Tough 200 is the color guard out of St. Louis, Missouri, 245th Support Company with the United States Army Reserve. And now, ladies and gentlemen, for this afternoon's invocation, Dr. Larry Lewis, Senior Pastor of Reedland Baptist Church in Paducah, Kentucky.
Father God, we thank you for this day. We thank you for the greatness of it and for all of these drivers and the ability that you've given them to drive. And we just pray that you'll protect them today, keep them safe. May it be a great day of fun and fellowship and racing today. And we ask it all in your name. Amen.
And now, singing the national anthem of the United States of America, Christian contemporary band, Jericho.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner
gentlemen, Christian Contemporary Band.
So the drivers will climb into their trucks. The fans here at Gateway International Raceway are going to be able to enjoy one of the longest flyovers in racing because the Dodge Hot Air Balloon is doing the flyover today at about 3 miles an hour. We'll be back for racing after this.
The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series on Speed is presented by Dodge. Live life to the fullest. Dodge, grab life. Brought to you in part by the official tools of NASCAR, Craftsman, and by Fastenal. We get it right.
Just a couple miles east of the Arch in St. Louis is the Gateway International Raceway. We look at our MSD Ignition race analysis. 36 trucks will start. It's a 200-mile race, 160 laps, Phil.
Yeah, you see the purse is a little bit over $600,000. Pit window somewhere between 70 and 75 laps for fuel and tires.
You know, we touched on how tricky this racetrack is earlier, but it was extremely tricky last night for one competitor.
Yeah, you can see right here. Remember, we talk about the real tight turns in 1 and 2, 11-degree banking, long straightaways, over 1,900 feet, both of them. You see that pole right there, that pole that's bent? That happened last night in the ARCA race. The Gateway officials had to do a little overtime last night. We had a little situation coming off turn number 2. Watch this. Ryan Fisher in the 25 car is going to get launched up into the catch fence, never even touched the outside wall. A spectacular ride there. Fortunately, Ryan was able to get out of that car, walk away. But there's another view of it right there. Just launched right over the right rear corner. Patrick Shelter's ARCA car tumbled down the backstretch.
And Phil, we've seen this before at this racetrack. I mean, we haven't seen him roll that much, but we saw Rick Crawford get on his side here. We saw Bobby Hamilton get up on 2 wheels, almost in the exact same spot.
Yeah, and that was in one series of green, white checker finishes.
Exactly.
The last time we did that, as we saw earlier in the show. So very, very tricky racetrack. Hopefully we're not going to see any of that kind of thing, but a lot of brakes at this racetrack getting down in turn number 1. You really stand on the brakes with both feet, just like you do at Pocono getting down in turn number 1. Not so much brake over in turn 3, but long straightaways. If the NASCAR did not institute a transmission rule, these trucks would be shifting on both straightaways. That's how slow they get in the corners.
Very unique racetrack here at Gateway International Raceway, and now we're going to have a special announcement here by one of our drivers who's going to give us the command.
Schrader.
All right, guys, start them up. Let's go racing.
I thought Kevin James did a lot better job a few weeks ago. Come on, Kenny.
No, I gotta go to Kent on this side because Kent's been racing almost every night of the week, so it's a nonchalant thing for him. All right, guys, let's go racing.
Just another night.
The engines are now fired. The crew members will move off of pit road. They'll roll onto the racetrack. We'll be racing when we come back. And welcome back. Truck still sitting on pit road. The fans anticipating another great show here at Gateway. Trucks always put on a great show when they visit the Midwest here, the Gateway to the West. Want to take a look at our starting grid? It will roll along the bottom of the screen for the Ram Tough 200, and starting again on pole for the 9th time in 2007. It's Mike Skinner. You know what? He has never led a lap at this racetrack, though. That could change today.
Yeah, but he's got Ron Honaday, who was great on restart and starts. So it should be very interesting as we get down towards turn number 1 on the initial start.
Ryan Matthews in that 3rd Bill Davis Racing truck will be starting in the 8th position. We're going to shine a spotlight on a few different drivers today. The first one we'll shine a spotlight on is that 00 of Josh Wise. Ray Dunlap.
Well, you know, I think Josh Wise has a big future in this sport, and so do many other people around, including the folks at Waltrip Racing. And they're going to have him in the truck tonight, also at Atlanta, Vegas, and Talladega. But in his career, Josh Wise has won about 35 big sprint and midget races, including 3 this season. But he said he really needs to get a victory in stock cars, and it almost happened right here last night in the ARCA REMAX Series, where Josh Wise finished 2nd right here at Gateway. Adam?
And a big welcome back to the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series to T.J. Bell driving the 50 truck here this afternoon. Bell, of course, driving in the Roush Fenway camp, took some time off to give seat time to both Peter Shepard and Danny O'Quinn Jr. What's he been doing since that time? One late model start, and he's been coming to the racetrack every weekend, spotting, spending time on the pit box, trying to learn the other side of the wall. It appears to have helped him. He qualified 12th for today's race, and he should be good here this afternoon in St. Louis. Phil, who's in your spotlight today?
Adam, I want to welcome J.R. Norris for his first ever Craftsman Truck Series start. He's driving the Flanders Beef Patties Chevrolet for Billy Ballou Racing. He is a teammate here to Kenny Wallace in the 51 truck. Remember, the 51 truck is the one that Kyle Busch usually drives. JR works in the shop. He's been there about 3 years, but he's an accomplished race car driver. He won NASCAR's Elite Southeast Division Championship last year and actually won the last tour race out at Phoenix last November. J.R. Norris making his first start ever here, starting right behind his teammate Kenny Wallace, and hopes to really attract some attention. I said, go out there and have some fun. Rick, who are you going to look at?
Well, we're going to shine a spotlight on St. Louis's own Kenny Wallace. He's driving that Flanders Beef Patties, number 51. He's got Richie Waters calling the shots for him today as crew chief. Now, Kenny Wallace, obviously, he doesn't just stick to trucks or cars. He also goes off-road. He was running on the dirt last night at Granite City. Didn't have the finish that he wanted there. He said he'd been finishing in the top 5 about every time he made it to a dirt track, but last night it was an 11th place finish. But he said that's okay. They're going to fix the dirt car back up again, and he's going dirt racing again here this weekend.
We're also going to ride along with Mike Bliss in the Open Joyce Dodge out of the Bobby Hamilton Racing Stables. Mike is coming off a 7th place finish our last time out at Bristol. Hoping to get a great run here. He's got three top 10s in his 4 starts here at Gateway.
Ken Schrader is going to carry one of our cameras. He'll start in the 18th position. Ken trying to improve upon his best this season, which has been a 3rd at Mansfield. So looking to change around his luck a little bit as he starts 18th today.
We're also going to ride along with the number 9 of Ted Musgrave, the Team ASC Germain Toyota. Ted is so good at this racetrack. In 6 starts here, his average finish is 4.3, and he will start in the 17th position.
Todd Bodine will carry one of our cameras. We'll ride along with him as he starts in the 14th position. Our defending series champion from a year ago, Todd Bodine, currently sits in the 4th position in the point standings, 335 points out of the lead. He's still mathematically in it, but it is definitely a long shot.
We're also going to ride along with the 07 of Tim Sauter, the Lester Buildings Chevrolet. Starts up in the 9th position, hoping to better his career best finish this year of 11th at Memphis.
Field going by the grandstands now as they've been given the command of 1 to go before we'll see the green flag. And before we see that green flag, let's go back down to pit road to Ray Dunlap.
Well, thank you, Rick. I want to talk a little bit about Ron Hornaday. A great qualifying effort for the Camping World Chevrolet. He'll start 2nd. Hornaday's best finish at this racetrack is 2nd. But he knows that he's got to start leading more laps. Mike Skinner has 100 bonus points, and Ron Hornaday only has 55. Skinner's on the inside. Hornaday says our goal today is win the race. But before we do that, we need to lead the most laps. Adam?
And those bonus points you spoke of for Mike Skinner, one of the reasons, Ray, that he is atop the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series point standings after 16 races, a 92-point advantage, 13 top 5 finishes to this point. It feels like a dominant year for Skinner, but check this out. It's actually the smallest lead margin after 16 races we've seen in the trucks in the last 4 years. To get close, you have to go back to 2004, a 96-point difference from 1st to 2nd that year after 16 races. So it feels like a dominant year for Skinner, but the bottom line is it's tight, and with 9 races to go, anything can happen, guys.
And tonight they've got to complete 160 laps, 200 miles here at Gateway. Again, just outside of St. Louis. Phil?
We have to stop saying tonight. We're used to saying tonight here because we're in the late afternoon here. It's not nighttime.
Shadows are getting a little bit longer, but that's not going to slow anybody down. The field now in the hands again of Mike Skinner. The green flag flies. We're underway, racing in Gateway.
Skinner trying to lean on Hornaday. Look how hard Hornaday drives that truck down at turn 1. Oh, goes way wide.
Maybe a little too hard. Hornaday gets up high. This should be the first ever lap that Mike Skinner has led at Gateway. Good start. Moving to the inside. That's Terry Cook in that number 59. Terry Cook has won at this racetrack before. That was back in 2002. Here comes Ron Hornaday back on the outside.
Not going to happen. Mike Skinner is going to get his first lap led here at Gateway and 5 more points.
5 bonus points going to the leader of a lap, and if he's able to lead the most laps, that would be another 5 bonus points. We'll find out who leads the most laps here at this race, but right now it's Skinner in front of Hornaday, Terry Cook. Then behind them, Johnny Benson and Brendan Gaughan with another good start coming off of a great finish a week and a half ago at Bristol.
I'm going to tell you, that Harris Trucking Toyota right there of Terry Cook, the 59, was good all day yesterday. He was actually the quickest truck in our first practice yesterday.
I asked Johnny Benson, as he has a good vantage point to see what Terry Cook is doing. I said, Johnny, who do you think looked pretty good out there during practice? And he said, well, Terry Cook was one of the best. The 14 was real good. And he said, my teammate was awful good as well in that number 5.
Had some 3-wide racing there for just a moment. There's Regan Smith, the 46 Ginn Resort Chevrolet on the inside. Tim Sauter, the 07 Lester Building Chevrolet on the outside.
In jockeying for position. The only truck that had to go to the back of the field because of a change they made either during or after qualifying was the 21 of John Wood, but he started in the back anyway because they couldn't get all of the adjustments and the things done to that truck ahead of time. Take a look back there, a little brushing the wall. That was Regan Smith into the wall in that 47.
Yeah, he got against the safer barrier there. Had it not been for the safer barrier, Regan Smith wouldn't even hit the wall. But when these guys hit the wall, when they have problems, they're glad that safer barrier is there.
Riding along with Tim Sauter in the Lester Buildings 07.
Ryan Matthews now has got in front of Tim Sauter in that Lester Buildings car. Truck.
Tim running in the 8th position right now. Regan Smith in front of him. Ryan Matthews, as you mentioned, has gotten in front of him, so that will drop Tim back to the 9th position.
There's Joey Clanton, the 09, the Zaxby's Ford. That's Kenny Schrader's Fastenal Dodge on board.
Hard charging there. It almost looks like the 00. Josh Wise moving up.
There's Travis Quapple. Remember, Travis Quapple lost his primary truck in practice. Started way back in this number 6 backup truck.
Couple more previous starts at this racetrack.
Travis started back in the 23rd position. Working to the inside of the 40 of Brandon Miller.
Coming up to speed here at this racetrack. Now, we've seen a few tire issues in practice yesterday, and on such flat tires, a lot of times we'll hear guys trying to put a little bit more camber in it, and then that gives you problems with the tires.
Yeah, some of the crew chiefs in the garage here felt like that we may see some right front tire problems from people trying to lean on these right front tires. You can really get a competitive advantage if you lean that right front tire in. But the problem is you'll pay the price. If you overheat that tire, you wear out the inside of that tire, and that can cause that tire to blow out. And that's not what anyone wants to see here at Gateway.
Definitely not. Mike Skinner has actually had problems like that before in the past. Ray, are we expecting anything like that out of him today?
Well, they did have a little bit of cord wear on the inside of that right front, and so they are going to keep their eye on that today. But the team was really worried about where Mike Skinner was when they got ready to start this race. Guess what? He had come down pit road and pulled over to make a pit stop. He went to the Porta-John here on pit road, and one of the competitors took a screwdriver and put it in the lock to hold Skinner inside the Porta-John. He started banging on the door. He says, come on, guys, you got to let me out. They said, man, you got to give us a chance. So they were nice enough to go ahead and let him out. But Skinner late getting down to his truck because he was being detained a little bit.
That was probably Ron Hornaday, I would think. That
problems. There's a left front that went down. The 88 of Matt Crafton with problems early on in this race.
Yeah, I saw Matt the last lap going real slow through 3 and 4. Obviously, he had that tire going down.
And there's our first issue of tires being a problem at the beginning of this race. Left front going down.
It may cost Matt such a long pit road here. It may cost Matt a couple laps by the time he gets that tire changed. Adam?
And indeed, it is a tire issue. Matt going to pull into his pit area. On the radio, he said he felt it go away. Looks like they're going to change left side tires only. Having a hard time getting the jack under the truck. Finally, they're able to do so. This is going to be a costly start to the race for Matt Crafton.
They changed those left side tires and put him back out on the pit road. He'll make it back out on the racetrack, but he is already being scored 2 laps down.
Let's look and see what happened. You see Matt going in the corner. He sees the 15 of Jared Norris. Looks like he had to get on the brakes a little extra hard. And that's when I saw him going slow through 3 and 4. He may have flat spotted that left front tire, and it eventually went down on him.
He'll make his way back out onto the racetrack, and he'll be chasing Mike Skinner in that number 5. Skinner been out in front all of the laps up to this point. We've completed 10, all led by the number 5 Toyota Tundra. We'll be back with more Gateway after this. You see the damage to the back end of the 09 of Joey Clanton. This just took place. Our first caution of the day has come out at Gateway International Raceway, and the tire beginning to shed, and
along with other stuff,
a lot of the parts on the back of that truck going away.
Yeah, a lot of debris all over the racetrack now.
The other truck involved with this was the 15 of J.R. Norris.
Well, there's J.R. right there. He made contact getting in turn number 3. Let's see if we can take a look back at what happened. J.R. was my spotlight truck. They're going down in turn number 3. Joey backs off for the corner. J.R. gets in there a little bit too hot. He makes a little bit of contact right there, and then see J.R. lock the brakes up to try to avoid him, and he ends up making some contact with the outside wall as well. But a lot of damage to that Zaxby's Ford of Joey Clanton.
A lot of parts still falling off as he was making his way onto pit road, and you see him slide around and back into the wall. That was Mike Bliss's rear mirror view. Matt Crafton coming past him.
Yeah, I'm
not really sure what that was all about.
You know, when we saw Matt Crafton lock the brakes up getting down in turn number 3, there were no letters on his left front tire, so you wondered if maybe there was some contact with somebody. He was obviously upset with Joey Clanton over something. So that may have been a situation where they may have gotten together earlier in the race, and that's what caused possibly Matt Crafton's left front tire to go down.
Early on in the race, only 15 laps complete. Our first caution has come out at Gateway International Raceway. Still out in front, Mike Skinner leading this field around the 1.25 mile racetrack. Ron Hornaday holding on to the second spot. They're 1 and 2 in the point standings, and they are 1 and 2 on the racetrack. And now we see the field, a lot of the field making their way onto pit road for some early adjustments. It looks like Skinner and Hornaday stayed out on the racetrack, as did Cook and Benson. They were your top 4. Todd Bodine came onto pit road, as did Ted Musgrave. Ray Dunlap.
Todd just not happy with the race truck throughout the course of the weekend. We say on the TV a lot of times that they changed just about everything on the truck. Literally, that's the case this weekend for this Lumber Liquidators Toyota. They changed every part of the setup you possibly could between final practice and qualifying, and Todd just not happy with it. So they made a wedge adjustment on the right side.
So Bodine comes off of pit road, followed by the K&N Ford of Travis Quapple. We'll see how they shake out and what order they will be in when we restart, when we come back right here on Speed. Welcome back to Madison, Illinois, just outside of St. Louis for the Missouri-Illinois Dodge Dealers Ram Tough 200. Again, we're under our first caution of the day. They're picking up some debris around the racetrack now that has come off of the 09 truck. Thursday, tune in for the gutsiest show on television. It's Pink's All Out. It's not for the pink slip. They're chasing the green. $10,000 in cold hard cash. Run fast, run hard with an all-new episode of Pink's All Out. Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern, 10 p.m. Pacific, only on Speed.
A lot of debris all over the racetrack from that Zaxby's Ford. Adam, have you caught up with Joey Clanton?
Yeah, we have caught up with Joey Clanton in the garage area. Good news is, Joey, you're okay. Bad news is a roughed-up race truck. What happened?
We must have a magnet for that 15 truck. I mean, I don't care who's in it. He was going backwards just as fast as he could go, and we got caught. We caught some of the traffic up in front of us, and had to check up. The 4 got up beside me. I let him go. Going to get back in line. We run a lap, and here comes the 15 just barreling off into the corner down there. Just took us out. Yeah, I hate it for Zaxby's and Ford and Lang Signs. Everybody that supports us on this deal, but you know we didn't need this for this rookie chase. We needed all these good runs that we could get. The truck was awesome. I mean, we had just run the fastest lap of the race. It was just starting to come back to us. We had a good truck yesterday in practice, and just you can't have runs like this.
It looked like some frustration from the 88 as well. What happened there?
Probably when I was just pulling down in front of him right there. He was still coming. I was trying to get rolling. I didn't know how bad it was going to be, but evidently it was pretty bad.
The 88, of course, Matt Crafton. The 15, J.R. Norris, each on the racetrack when Joey Clanton got into the wall, guys.
There's our lucky dog, Dana White, in the number 86 will receive the Aaron's Lucky Dog, so he will be back on the lead lap. We have 32 trucks that are still on the lead lap now. Matt Crafton scored a lap down, and he will be the highest scored lap down truck, so if another caution comes out, he would be eligible for that Aaron's Lucky Dog as well. Tim Sauter in the Lester Buildings
car. Yeah,
we're getting good at this.
Yeah, I thought I would say the same thing, but he's running in the 8th spot right there. Kenny's up to 11th. Kenny started in the 11th position, so he's held serve thus far.
He didn't want to jinx himself, being a St. Louis native. Wants to come here and have some success, as does Todd Bodine. He'd like to defend his race title from a year ago.
Todd, one of the trucks that came down pit road, made an early pit stop.
Getting ready for the restart. Matt Crafton will restart on the inside of row 1, and then it's Mike Skinner and Ron Hornaday, 1 and 2, when the green flag comes back out. Again, turns 1 and 2 tighter, a tighter radius. They'll work their way out to the wall, and then a wider sweeping turns 3 and 4.
Yeah, a little bit flatter. Speeds upwards of 150 miles an hour on the straightaway here. A little bit slower on the backstretch than what we see on the front stretch, because you exit turn 4 a little faster than you exit turn 2.
Keep your momentum up as you go through 3 and 4 and down the front stretch right in front of the grandstands. The field goes once again. Again, Mike Skinner has been out in front of this field the entire race. We completed 20 laps on lap 21 of the 160. Again, 200-mile race. Now, they're at least going to have to make one stop, for sure. We're hearing a lot of the strategy is a 2-stop race here.
Yeah, I don't think you can make it as far as to make it on one stop. You would have to run 80 laps, obviously. Remember, these trucks qualified and were not able to top these trucks off with fuel. There's a battle for the 19th spot right there. Todd Bodine takes it from the Z08 of Boris Yurkovic. But I don't think these guys will make it on one stop. I don't think they can do it on fuel. And we would have to have an awful lot of caution laps to be able to do that. And I don't see it here at Gateway.
See the move by the K&N Ford of Travis Quaffle. He'll try to make his way. Again, he restarted in the back because they came onto pit road, as did the 9 of Ted Musgrave. See some side-by-side racing here. TJ Bell on the outside of Rick Crawford. 2 Fords battling for position there.
That's a battle for the 14th spot. There's Mike Bliss right there, the open joist Dodge. Brandon Miller, the 40, right behind him.
This battle continues for the 14th position. TJ Bell on the outside of the 50, the 14 of Rick Crawford, and now Todd Bodine making his way up.
Rick Crawford is one of the few drivers that has run every race here at Gateway.
Terry Cook also involved in that list.
Yeah, Rick Crawford has made 9 starts with 4 top 5 finishes, 6 top 10s in his 9 starts.
And Ted Musgrave moving up to the front. You may ask yourself, Mike Skinner leading this race, has anybody won from the pole? Well, that gentleman right there, Ted Musgrave. The 2 times he's won the pole at this racetrack, he's also won the race.
You know, this race has only been won from a starting position worse than 10th one time, and that was David Starr back in that green-white checker-filled 2004 season.
Right on the back bumper. We see a battle for the 3rd position. Johnny Benson making his way by Terry Cook. So Benson moving up toward the front once again. And Benson with a strong truck in practice yesterday. His qualifying effort earlier today garnered him a 4th starting position. But now in 4th at 59 of Terry Cook. Adam?
When you talk about Terry Cook, you talk about success here. He led 59 laps in 2002 when he went to Victory Lane, and he has a number of top 10s in his 9 starts. You were talking about the drivers who have started all 9 races here. Terry Cook can put his name in that hat. And the crew told me earlier today, this place feels a lot like Kansas, referring to last season's Kansas race, the last time Terry Cook went to Victory Lane. Right?
You know, Adam, Johnny Benson's been on the radio saying he didn't feel like he has any side bite. He likes the truck down in 1 and 2, but it's not as good in 3 and 4. So they're going to make some air pressure adjustments and a track bar change on that Toyota Certified Vehicles Tundra whenever they come in. JB started 4th, and he's been hanging right up there, but no side bite in the corners.
Okay, just a few moments ago, there was some hard racing between the 75 right there, the Spears Chevrolet of Dennis Setzer, and the 00 of Josh Wise. Watch this now. Josh dives down to the inside. They're going to make slight contact. And watch Dennis Setzer. It's just about the whole corner it takes him to corral that Chevrolet.
We talked about Kenny Wallace and Ken Schrader doing a little dirt track racing last night. Well, Dennis Setzer was dirt tracking that truck right there, trying to keep it pointed the right direction.
But you don't want to do that here at Gateway. You don't want to do that dirt track racing.
Out of the groove is not the place to be. In the groove is Mike Skinner right now at Gateway International Raceway. You're watching the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series on Speed. Mike Skinner's going to have to get up on the wheel. Ron Hornaday looking to the inside now as this is a battle for the top spot. Skinner has led every lap up to this point, but now Hornaday looking to get in front of the field.
He's going for it right now. I think Mike Skinner's going to back off and let him go that lap. No sense racing this early in the race. Mike Skinner is racing so smart this year. Mike Skinner of old may have really pushed the issue and driven that truck down in the corner beside him, but they are really running a flawless season.
We're going to see if Mike Skinner's truck going away from him a little bit here on the longer runs. Johnny Benson's also been able to catch Skinner. Then those two are teammates. Benson said he was really good in race run setup when they were practicing yesterday, and he said Skinner was having a little more troubles with their race run setup. So it looks as though the longer runs are more beneficial for Johnny Benson and Ron Hornaday.
Yeah, we haven't had that long to run, only about a 15-lap run a couple different times. Adam, what's going on with that 77 of Brendan Gaughan?
Well, the report right now on Brendan Gaughan loose, he started 5th, but he's dropped back running in the 10th position. You know, this is a backup truck. He was good in practice yesterday, but hit the wall at happy hour. The team stayed last night to get the backup ready until NASCAR kicked him out. They were in here 2 hours before the garage opened this morning. It paid dividends with a solid qualifying run, but as you can see, he slid back 6 spots, currently running 11th and battling Kenny Wallace on the racetrack. Ray?
Kenny Wallace's truck is very, very tight coming off of the corner. He is saying he cannot roll through the center the way he wants to at all. And when he tries to get to the gas coming off, it just runs him up to the wall. So very, very tight for that Flanders Beef Patty Chevrolet.
He's able to look on the inside of the South Point Chevrolet of Brendan Gaughan as they race down the front stretch side by side, crossing the start-finish line.
Kenny was able to keep his right front fender up the side of Brendan's quarter panel. Brendan's going to run the high side. He's no stranger to running the high side. He does that just about everywhere, but Kenny is going to be able to make the pass.
Does make that pass. Brendan Gaughan has finished this race in victory lane back in 2003 when he was battling for the championship. Ron Hornaday now with a little over half-second lead on Johnny Benson, who's taken away second from Mike Skinner.
Yeah, this last lap, Johnny was able to get by Mike Skinner, his teammate, to take over the second position, see if he can chase down Ron Hornaday. You see these trucks use the entire racetrack. Coming off the corner, they slide all the way out to the racetrack. These very flat exits of the corner, you really have to use the entire racetrack. That's why sometimes it's difficult for trucks on the inside to make the pass, because you really need all that room exiting the corner to maximize your speed.
We see him spread out just a bit. Mike Skinner now about a second behind Ron Hornaday. So Hornaday with a very good truck, handling well. He started on the outside of row number 1, but Johnny Benson right on his back bumper. And we see side-by-side racing Todd Bodine and Brendan Gaughan riding on board with the truck just to the inside of Brendan Gaughan there.
Brendan's a little high there, got a little bit up in the loose stuff, lost a little momentum. It's a battle for the 15th spot. Comes Travis Kvapil. He moves to the outside of the 30 of Todd Bodine.
Side by side through the corner now. That's 3 and 4 that they're going through. Todd Bodine on the inside, Travis Kvapil on the outside. This is for 16.
These are a couple of the drivers that you would have thought would have been up front, not really struggled. Talk to Mike Beam and Mike Hillman Jr., crew chiefs respectively, on the 6 of Travis Kvapil. And look at Johnny Benson, look to the inside of Ron Hornaday for the lead, not able to do it that time. But both of those guys and teams struggled in practice yesterday. Both of them made wholesale changes, as we reported at the very top of the show.
And do you think that's because of the fact that we're not under the lights here? I mean, it's a lot warmer. Well, I should say the sun is beating down on the track. It's not warmer. It's been very warm here at this racetrack, but the sun has constantly been shining on this racetrack the entire time. Not only that they've been practicing, but also now of the race.
Yeah, part of that, and part of also the fact that Goodyear brought a different tire than last year. So what worked last year didn't necessarily work this year. And right now we have a new leader.
Well, everything's working right now for Johnny Benson, but Ron Hornaday said, "Wait a second, let me check to see if you got any debris on your back bumper there." Side by side as they cross the start-finish line. 9 1/1000ths of a second separate Benson and Hornaday. Benson was your leader across the stripe.
Ron Hornaday is not a guy that gives up the lead easily, or second, or third, or fourth. Gets up on that wheel hard.
Definitely a racer, and they just break away from a 3-wide situation here, and making it 3 wide again. Oh boy, tough situation right there for Todd Bodine. He had to check up. It looked as though he was going to turn hard right there for a second.
Yeah, big time wiggle right there. He had to catch the back end of that car. It's going to allow Mike Busch to get by with a loss of momentum by Todd.
Bliss gets by. Todd Bodine still trying to move toward the front, currently running in the 14th spot. Here's another look at that truck and the ill handling problems he had through the corner.
Yeah, Todd way down on the bottom of the racetrack. It's a little bit rougher down there than it is up in the middle. He lost the back end a little bit. Uh-oh, troubles for Jack Sprague, the Conway Toyota.
Toyota Tundra. Oh, and he's got the window net down already. So definite problems for that truck today. No caution has come out as of yet, but it doesn't look like Jack Sprague is going to be continuing today.
No, I'd say that has all the appearances of being a terminal situation for Jack Sprague. He is on the access road over in turn number 3. Looks like he's rolling fast enough that he will probably make it around to pit road.
Surprising we didn't see any smoke. We didn't see or hear anything as far as anyone talking about, you know, fluid or anything. So I'm not sure if that's an engine that has expired or maybe even a transmission. Ray, what's going on? Have you heard?
Yeah, it's engine. He broke the engine, and Sprague said for sure we are done for the day. So the bad luck continues for the Conway team. They just can't seem to get on a roll of good races consecutively. Broken engine put Sprague out today early on lap 42.
Jack Sprague, one of the drivers who has won at this racetrack back in 2000, but not today. He will be in the garage now. Johnny Benson has led. It has been Johnny Benson, Ron Hornaday, and Mike Skinner, your leaders from Gateway. Wednesday, the high-revving tire shredding, wheel standing, two-wheeled action returns for an all-new season. Superbikes, Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Pacific, only on Speed. They do some crazy things on those two-wheel bikes. Let's take a top 10 drop back. Adam Alexander.
And that means we will start with our leader, Johnny Benson. Fresh off a win last week at Bristol. They bring the same truck here this weekend that Johnny took to a runner-up finish at O'Reilly Raceway Park. Needed grip in the early going, but on the long run, this truck is spectacular. He's trying to pull away from Ron Hornaday Jr., Ray.
Hornaday brought chassis 16, Adam, and they've had a lot of luck with this truck. He finished second at Milwaukee and second at Nashville. Rick Wren said they've been continuing to fine-tune on it, but they like it on these kind of flat and not really high-banked racetracks. Now, when we talk about the 5 of Mike Skinner, Jeff Hensley told me he had hoped to get his first pit stop in around lap 40. But guess what? We're already up to lap 50 right now, so they're a little concerned about tire wear on that Tundra. Adam?
And when you look at the 59 truck currently running fourth, that's Terry Cook. Not bad after starting third this afternoon. Been a great weekend for them. Only 2 top 10s in 2007. They feel like they got a shot not only at top 5, but a win here today. This is the same truck they ran at Kansas where they did, in fact, finish in the top 10, Ray.
Well, we talked at the top of the show about Jacques Villeneuve coming to Bill Davis Racing. That puts a big question mark on what the future holds for Ryan Matthews. I asked him before the race started if he knows what he'll do at the end of the year. He said, Ray, I'm just lucky to have had a chance at all to be here, trying to show what he can do. He's been in the top 5 throughout the course of the day today. Now, Eric Darnell in the number 99 truck is very, very tight with his truck also. We've heard that a good bit on the radio down here. So his crew chief, John Quinn, said they're going to make big changes on the first round of pit stops. Double A?
Regan Smith has been quiet on the 47 truck radio in the early going. You talk about futures, many believe his destination a Nextel Cup ride. But if you talk to him about the future, he says, I'm not worried about that right now. I'm worried about the task at hand, and that is getting to victory lane with a 47. A chance to do it once again here today. Regan Smith making his 3rd Truck Series start of 2007. And then there's Tim Sauter riding in the 9th position. That's where he started. Word on the radio for him, just the slightest bit snug. This This is the racetrack where he came in Busch Series competition for the first time and finished in the top 10, right?
What a great run it was for David Green in the #1 truck at Kentucky when he started with this Red Horse Racing team. But from there on, it's been a bit of a struggle. He said David told me that he's really had trouble adapting to the different style that these trucks have compared to the NASCAR Busch cars, which he's run so often. He said he's got to learn the downforce and he's got to learn how these tires change throughout the long course of a run. What a good move for Ted Musgrave. He started 17th and has brought that ASE Toyota all the way up to the 10th position. When you look at laps led here at this racetrack at Gateway, Musgrave's just about as good as they come. And his record at this racetrack is fantastic. A first, a second, and a third at this racetrack, guys.
And since the restart, Ted Musgrave has gained 14 spots. He wants to continue to move up toward the front, though, because he is chasing Johnny Benson in that number 23. Benson continuing to lead Hornaday here at Gateway. This is not what Mike Skinner wanted to see, as he had a 92-point lead coming into this race. Right front tire goes away, a lot of damage to the right side, and a hard left-hand turn onto the garage grounds.
We wondered if there were going to be some right front tire problems. We saw it right there. Mike Skinner cuts down the right front going in the corner, makes some pretty hard contact with the safer barrier. He pulled that truck directly behind pit wall. What a horrible break for Mike Skinner, our point leader.
Saw his crew making the run into the garage area from pit road. Also, the 07 of Tim Sauter in that Lester Buildings 07 had to come into the garage as well. They were slow on the racetrack. The caution didn't come out for any of the accident that took place. It was the debris that came off of the 5 that they had to throw the caution for. Adam Alexander.
And the issue on the 07, he came on the radio and said, I think I blew it up. And he has since been able to take it back to the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series garage, and a dejected crew follows him. Sauter running in the top 10. Unfortunately, it doesn't work out for him today. Now to pit stops. A touch free, the word for Johnny Benson. He says don't make many changes. Air pressure, the call for crew chief Trip Bruce. 4 tires and fuel. Right behind him on the pit lane is going to be Terry Cook. Cook running in the top 3. They too call for a slight air pressure adjustment. He was a tick tight. 4 tires and fuel for both. Ray Dunlap.
No adjustments at all on this Camping World Chevrolet for Ron Hornaday. He says the truck is very good. He's been happy with it. The guys go to work. They'll put 4 tires on it and fuel, clean off a tear off the windshield, and Hornaday back out.
Racing off pit road, it's the 33 of Ron Hornaday that will be out in front of the field. So Johnny Benson a little slower off of pit road.
You think those 33 guys are pumped up now, knowing that the point leader has had trouble behind the wall already?
Just for your information, as they run right now, Ron Hornaday is your points leader by 9 points over Skinner.
How about that? Unbelievable. Hey, you never know in the Craftsman Truck Series. We talked about having the closest point battle in NASCAR. It got a little bit closer.
Just got a little tighter. We've got a new leader. Mike Skinner in the garage. Ron Hornaday in front of the field here at Gateway. We'll be right back with more racing.
Dodge Avenger RT and Charger RT. Inspired by NASCAR. Built to grab life.
Still under a second caution. What is bad for Mike Skinner is good for David Starr. He gets the Aaron's lucky dog, so he will be back on the lead lap. And that will make it 22 trucks now racing on the lead lap here at Gateway. We talked about how Johnny Benson had a little bit of a slow pit stop, but Adam Alexander, he had to come back down on pit road.
Yeah, it went from bad to worse. A slow pit stop, and then he found out one of the lug nuts on the left front was left off, Rick, so they had to come back down pit road. Johnny came over the radio and said, guys, we can't have this. Wipe off the grill when I come down. I'll be there in a minute. You can hear the frustration in his voice. He's going to have to come through the field to have a chance to win back-to-back here today, right?
Look, guys, if you would, at the underneath of Mike Skinner's Toyota here as they continue to work on the right front there. Driver is underneath taking a look at the damage and trying to help out. Wrenches in his hand. What they've got to do here is they've got to pull the entire right front steering assembly off. They're going to need a new rotor, new spindle over here. They're going to have to check the brake lines, bleed that out. They've got to fix the damage on the sheet metal here on the right side. And looks to me like they've got 2 steering arms that are going to need taken off and replaced too. So we're talking about at least 20 minutes worth of work right here to try to get this truck back together and back on the racetrack.
Ray, while he's in the garage here at Todd Bodine, the 30 truck is on pit road with the hood up. They've given the field 1 to go. They may be making some shock adjustments or something like that. Wholesale changes to that 30 truck. Mike Hillman Jr. makes the adjustments. They get the hood buckled up, and Todd will catch the field. He will be the very back of the field here, even behind the 23 of Johnny Benson.
We'll have to restart in the 22nd position when he comes back out. And we saw Mike Skinner underneath that truck as they continue to work on it. You know, Mike Skinner's worst finish this season, obviously before this race, was 20th. So a string of bad luck could take this championship right out of Mike Skinner's hands.
You know, we talk about Ron Hornaday and the fact he was 92 points behind coming into this race. His worst finish this year is 11th. He's on a string right now of like 7 top 10, 13 top 10 finishes in a row. So Ron Hornaday is in the driver's seat right now and in the lead.
Leading the field, the green flag back out. Hornaday is leading David Green, Terry Cook, Regan Smith, and Ryan Matthews, your top 5 at Gateway.
Continues to try to get his lap back. He's right behind Ron Hornaday right now, pulled out in front of the 2nd place truck of David Green. That's David Green in the 1. Terry Cook is 3rd right now in the 59. There's Ted Musgrave. He's going on the outside of the 75 of Dennis Setzer.
Just in front of them, that's Eric Darnell in the 99.
Eric's in 6th. Ted is in 7th. Travis Koppel, the 6th truck, is in 8th.
Finish line and into 1 and 2 side by side. Terry Cook, David Green. So Terry Cook moving in front of Green now for 2nd. Ron Hornaday with a great restart. We can say that virtually every time the green flag comes out, but Ron Hornaday with a great restart. He gets in front of that 59 of Terry Cook, and David Green running in 3rd now.
Ted Musgrave has a great truck. We talked about him before the caution came out, driving all the way up from 24th after a pit stop into the top 10.
Travis Quaffle looking to the inside now of Ted Musgrave. Quaffle able to run right on the white line through 1 and 2 as they go down the back stretch. Wow, Terry Cook slowing down on the inside, and so problems for Terry Cook. He was running 2nd, and we see the smoke rolling out of the back of the 59.
Adam.
And guys, he came over the radio and said, I think I got something wrong with the motor. I've switched ignition boxes and it's still not up to speed. And you can see him rolling slowly down the front straightaway. What appeared to be an optimistic day has Terry Cook going slowly in the wrong direction.
They restarted this one. He restarted 2nd. Then he was passed by David Green, but was running in the 3rd spot. And then the problems continue here at Gateway, and this time it's Terry Cook that goes behind the wall. Ray Dunlap.
Let me just add real quickly here on this number 5. You know, we did have some heat on that right front, and also we saw some wear. And earlier today, NASCAR came by and told these teams they're able to run 1 extra bead blower if you want to. Normally, you're only allowed to have 1 hose that goes over there to blow on the inside of the tire. They said you can have an extra one here to try to make sure you don't have excessive heat on these tires. So they put one on this 5 truck earlier this morning, had an extra bead blower there, and still had trouble with that right front tire.
Well, it didn't seem like Mike Skinner was pushing the edge also on the racetrack, which we've seen him do in the past. Take a look. That's Skinner right there underneath that truck, working hard along with his crew members.
Yeah, Mike Skinner underneath that truck. He knows he's losing points right now. He desperately wants to get that truck back out on the racetrack to try to get as many points as he can get. He knows he's out of contention for a win here and knows that more than likely he will lose his point lead if Ron Hornaday has a pretty decent day, but there's a lot of racing left to go this year.
He's 12 laps down now, currently scored in the 29th position. The guy who was 2nd in points coming into the day, currently leading this race. Now leading the points by 12.
Coverage of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series on Speed is brought to you by the official tools of NASCAR, Craftsman, by Fastenal, we get it right, and by Just for Men. Stay in the game with Just for Men hair color.
Mike Skinner continuing to run around that number 5 XM, the sponsor on that truck today, and problems for him, problems for Rick Crawford. We're hearing potentially a vibration for that truck, and so he makes his way onto pit road now. Adam?
Started 22nd, was up to 10th in the running order, came on a radio, said, I feel a vibration, feels like a right side tire is loose. So the plan, change right side tires, send him on his way. Another day that looked good for Rick Crawford, made up 12 spots in the early going, but unfortunately, an unscheduled pit stop at lap 73.
Ron Hornaday still out in front of this field. Now has a 2.5 second lead over David Green, running second. Regan Smith is third, Ryan Matthews fourth. Ted Musgrave has moved up into the top 5. Then it's Eric Darnell, Travis Kvapil, TJ Bell, Johnny Benson in the top 10, and Kenny Wallace rounding out the top 10.
Yeah, Johnny Benson is the truck on the move. Obviously fast early going. There's Johnny right there. He's already gotten by TJ Bell up into the 8th position. He is fun. This is when he passed TJ Bell just a few moments ago. TJ got a little bit high there, almost brushed the wall, possibly even made a little contact with the wall, but Johnny was going by on the inside, and he's gone.
Johnny Benson checking out now on this field, trying to get up toward the front, running in the 8th position now. Ray Dunlap, what's going on with the Skinner crew?
Well, Mike's here, and Mike, you've been able to get underneath the truck and look at it, assess the damage for us if you could.
It's killed. The front clip's killed. Tire went down on us there, and got the lower control arm, spindle, all the suspension, body. Kind of a tough break for us today.
Absolutely, and the work continues here. They're about to put the front nose fascia on here. They've got a bunch of bare bond ready to do that. Jeff Hensley, the crew chief, is in here welding. He is actually trying to weld up the lower control arm down here and get this thing, so they'll try to get it back on the racetrack. But I'm telling you guys, there's still quite a bit of work to go here. And the back end, they've got the rear end is a little bit out of kilter, so the guy's trying to realign that also. So damage on every corner of this Toyota Tundra.
Yeah, the points, 12 points. Skinner now the deficit behind Hornaday. Here is how all of that damage took place.
Yeah, we saw the right front tire go down, entering the corner down there in turn number 1. I'll tell you, Mike Skinner has had such a flawless year. As you talked earlier, 20th is his worst finish. That they just didn't have a good run at ORP. They had no trouble, really. Just kind of missed the setup a little bit. But otherwise, virtually no problems whatsoever. And boy, did that open the door for this guy right here, Ron Hornaday, a 2-time champion in the Truck Series.
One guy he's going to have to look out for is that 23 of Johnny Benson, who, because of a problem on pit road, leaving a lug nut off, he had to make his way back down pit road, restarted this race in 21st. But Adam, he is really on the move.
Yeah, less than 20 laps have passed since Johnny Benson, as you pointed out, Rick, restarted 21st. He's already driven his way up to 7th in the running order. Just blew by Travis Kvapil on the racetrack. Every time he passes one, the crew stands and applauds. Johnny on the radio, dead silent. He's letting the truck do the talking in the middle stages here at St. Louis.
Coming up on the halfway point as they will cross the start-finish line. After 79 of the 160 scheduled, Hornaday out in front. We've had 3 different leaders. Mike Skinner led early on, then it was Hornaday, and he relegated that spot to the 23 of Johnny Benson, but now it's Hornaday back out in front again. We've only had 2 cautions for 9 laps, and 4 trucks currently out of the race.
Yeah, and that 5 of Mike Skinner is one of those 4 trucks out of the race right now. There's our leader, the Camping World Chevrolet of Ron Hornaday. Running second right now is that number 1 Toyota of David Green. David's given that truck a great ride. And Regan Smith, we talked about him early in the show being very, very good here. Didn't want to jinx himself. You can see David Green right there, a little bit less than 3 seconds behind our leader. But right behind him is that 47 Ginn Resort Chevrolet of Regan Smith, coming off a good finish last week. Actually drove that truck a couple different times. Finished 8th and 14th in 2 of the last 3 races. Adam?
And he probably would have been in the top 10 last week if he hadn't gotten in a slight mishap on one of the restarts at Bristol. Tight was the call for Regan earlier today after starting 6th. A wedge adjustment, some air pressure on that first stop at lap 58, 4 tires and fuel. But the big news on the pit stop, Phil, the fact that the crew picked him up 3 spots. Any driver will love that, I think.
Adam, you're exactly right. Do you love when your guys get it done on pit road? It's hard enough to pass these trucks out on the racetrack, and when they do it on pit road, that's the easiest way to pass them. But look at this 22 truck right here, Ryan Matthews. First year in the Truck Series, had a couple good runs back 4 or 5 races ago, finished 6th and 4th respectively, had a pole, had a little trouble the last 3 races, but given that Toyota a great ride here today, running in the 4th spot.
Out in front of this field and adding a half a second to his lead over David Green is Ron Hornaday. What's the talk on the radio down there, Ray?
Well, you know, you could really cut the tension with a knife between this 33 and the 5 team the last 3 or 4 weeks. But I think they're starting to hit their stride down here with this 33. They've been getting their chassis where they're a lot better. They're aware of Skinner's situation. So let's listen into the conversation just moments ago from Hornaday.
Just a little tighter off the corner with this set, Rick. By waiting for it, he's pretty good. 10-4. About 10 back the 88, about 20 behind him's the 1.
You know, I
just
said,
right, Ricky, so just let me know what they're doing and I'll do whatever we got to do here.
I said at the top of the show that this team was focused on leading the most laps in the remaining events of this season. They really know that they've got to catch up on bonus points. They didn't think that Skinner would have the trouble like he had today. It is going to be a big swing in the points, but these guys know that there's a lot of racing left, and they've got to get better than they've been in the last 4 events because Skinner has been finishing a position or 2 ahead of them in every race.
Ray, it could be a big point swing. You know, we've got half this race to go yet. Ron Hornaday maybe could run into some trouble in this last half of the race. So as of now, if Ron Hornaday does not have any trouble, then it's going to be a giant swing in the points.
And the 5 still in the garage. Mike Skinner led 31 laps. It was the first 31 laps of the race. He was out in front.
Good view of Ted Musgrave's on board. Johnny Benson, that 23 Toyota, has already gotten by Ted Musgrave for the 5th position. And now Johnny closes right up on the back of one of his teammates, Ryan Matthews, in the 22. Talk about being a man on a mission now.
Very strong, and I would think that Johnny Benson might maybe back off just a bit after seeing what his teammate did to his right front tire.
Well, don't tell Johnny now that I said he couldn't win this race having that pit road problem. We told, you know, you threw me under the bus there for doing it at Bristol. But
I got to make sure I keep you honest.
Yeah, Johnny, what a great truck he's got right now, and he's looking at 4th right now on his teammate.
So Hornaday working around the slower lap traffic and also looking in the rearview mirror because Johnny Benson is coming hard here at Gateway International Raceway. Friday NASCAR on Speed takes you to the heart of Virginia for the last race to make the chase, and only speed gets you fired up for all the action, drama, and excitement in Richmond. Friday beginning at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific, NASCAR on Speed. It's huge.
Good view of the onboard right there. Mike Bliss. Ron Hornaday continues to lead. Here is a battle for the 5th position right now. Ryan Matthews, the 22, has it. The 9 of Ted Musgrave trying to get it.
And you may be wondering, well, what happened to Johnny Benson? Because wasn't he running around there? Oh, well, Johnny Benson is looking at 2nd right now, trying to go by David Green.
Yeah, David just backs off. He knows that Johnny is so fast. He saw him come up in the mirror. So no sense holding him up. I know he's going to pass me. He's the fastest truck on the racetrack.
You mentioned the fact that, you know, we don't want to throw you under the bus or anything. Johnny just berated me earlier in the garage saying, I can't believe you guys didn't even think I could win that race. I said, well, you know, it was maybe a couple of the other guys up in the booth that threw that out there as an idea.
I saw him doing that, and that's why I hid behind a toolbox while he was talking to you.
Oh, yeah. Well, Johnny Benson, definitely the man on a mission right here at Gateway International Raceway. He's moved up to 2nd. Again, he restarted in 21st when we had our 2nd caution, which came out because Mike Skinner got into the wall and debris put on the racetrack. That was back on lap 56. Well, we're currently on lap 93 of 160, and Johnny Benson has made his way all the way up to 2nd. Kenny Wallace currently holding on to that top 10 spot that we saw him earlier with. Ray, what are they talking about?
Well, he's not happy with his truck because his brakes are going away. And Phil, you talked about it, how you want to stand on the brakes going down in the long straightaways here, and he's been doing just that. But they're beginning to fade on that number 51. Now, this is one of their very best trucks. It's chassis number 11. It's got a number of victories. It won with Shane Meal back in 04 at Vegas, and Kyle Busch has won 3 separate times in this truck. But Kenny says he doesn't believe they're good enough to win tonight. Now, real quickly, if I could just add, I believe Kenny Wallace may be in the market for another new Nextel Cup ride. We heard a week or so ago that Ricky Rudd will not return to Robert Yates Racing, and I've just recently heard that Kenny Wallace may be one of the drivers under consideration at Robert Yates Racing, but not a shot at a victory tonight here at St. Louis. Adam?
And you talk about Kenny Wallace, Ray. I talk about Ken Schrader, one of his Missouri racing friends. Schrader entered this weekend with a great deal of optimism. This is the same truck that he took to top 5 finishes earlier this season at Mansfield and O'Reilly Raceway Park in Indianapolis. But he came over the radio, said no power steering. That's never good. And it's really bad for Schrader, who after running 160 laps here at Gateway, is going to go run at the I-55 Raceway, his racetrack in Peebly, Missouri, later tonight.
Going to be working very hard right now. 2 teammates working hard on each other. Eric Darnell and Travis Quapple running nose to tail right now. That is 7th and 8th position. Darnell and Quapple in that K&N Ford just behind him.
See that 9 of Ted Musgrave and the 22 of Ryan Matthews, the 6th and 5th place trucks right in front of them. A great battle. And there's David Green right in front of them. So from 3rd on back to 8th, all nose to tail. Make that 2nd.
That's right.
I mean, make that 3rd. I'm sorry, Regan Smith, who just got by the 1 of David Green.
3rd, Regan Smith. 4th, David Green. Matthews, Musgrave, Darnell, and Quapple.
Johnny Benson continues to run the fastest laps each and every time. He was about 0.3 of a second faster than Ryan Hornaday that last lap. Johnny was about 4 seconds behind when he took over the 2nd position, and he's already cut 1 second off of that.
Again, we talk about the surge to the front for Johnny Benson on that pit stop where Mike Skinner's right front tire blew and he got into the wall. Johnny Benson came in, had a little bit slower of a pit stop, and we talked about it at that time. But then what happened was he had to get the tire or the lug nut put back on the left front. So he restarted in 21st, and he's made it all the way up to 2nd now, just 3 seconds behind our leader, Ron Hornaday. He has passed people right and left all the way around this racetrack.
It's one of those deals, you pass him when you get to him, and that's what Johnny was doing. He's got such a good truck. And, you know, a lot of times people will ask, do race car drivers get motivated when they're angry or whatever? And, you know Johnny was frustrated having to go back into the pits, restart from back in 21st position. But, Johnny is always up on top of the wheel. That's why he's won so many of these races. Won our most recent race at Bristol when Michael Waltrip said he couldn't do it.
Yeah, Michael Waltrip. I noticed how you threw him under the bus there. Ron Hornaday, probably running a little scared up in front of the field right now. He knows Johnny Benson is reeling him in. 2.5 seconds separate the two. Ron Hornaday came into this race 92 points behind Mike Skinner in the points battle. The points as they run now, 25 points separate Hornaday and Skinner. And we see a caution has come out on the racetrack now. There is debris on the racetrack. Hornaday, well, and it was inevitable that Johnny Benson was going to catch Hornaday anyway, because Benson had closed within 0.9 of a second of Hornaday before this caution came out, but now he's right on his back bumper.
Yeah, Johnny Benson 2 laps ago ran a faster lap than Ron Hornaday's fastest lap of the entire race. That's how good that 23 truck is of Johnny Benson, and that's with a number of laps in his tire. Johnny pitted back on lap number 58 and changed tires, so with 40-some laps in his tires, he ran a lap faster than Ron Hornaday has this entire race.
This one coming out on lap 105 will be the lap of the first caution. Now, I do have to clarify, our wingman, Michael Waltrip, obviously not here. He's in California preparing for the race tomorrow, the Cup race. he actually texted us and said, wait a second, I don't think I was the only one who said Johnny Benson couldn't win our last race.
Well, we were going to commercial, and I really didn't have time to mention both of us.
Oh, okay.
I want to apologize to Michael. I know he's watching, obviously. I want to apologize.
Yeah, he's watching, all right.
We were going to commercial. I didn't have time to mention my name either.
When he texted me, he said, I'm pretty sure Johnny Benson can win this race. So
yeah, and I think he's right.
Yeah, a little ad there from the West Coast. But it's Ron Hornaday who has led the most laps. 55 laps led for Ron Hornaday up to this point in the race. 19 laps were led by Johnny Benson. 31 laps were led by Mike Skinner. So now obviously Mike Skinner off of the racetrack. He cannot lead the most laps. Ron Hornaday can lead the most laps and get 5 more bonus points.
That's right. There's the Flanders Beef Patty Chevrolet of Kenny Wallace. Good view at him. There's Mike Bliss, the Open Joyce Dodge out of Bobby Hamilton Stables. Mike's running right now in the 12th position.
Get this most recent caution coming out for debris on the racetrack.
That'll get everybody in their pit window. We talked about the pit window being 70 to 75 laps. Right now we've completed 105 laps, which means 55 laps to go. So everybody can pit now and make it to the end.
It looks like they will make their way onto pit road. The field will be led by that 33 of Ron Hornaday. Right behind him, the 23 of Johnny Benson. Now, again, the last time on pit road, Johnny Benson's crew got him out a little bit late and left a lug nut off the left front, so he had to come back in later, restarted 21st. Adam.
And in contrast to that, Regan Smith team picked him up 3 spots on that first stop of the day. You see Regan bottom your screen. He says tight, no grip, 4 tires, fuel, and a chassis adjustment. Meanwhile, Johnny Benson, referring to this long green flag run through the field, he said that was work right there. He too's going to get 4 tires, fuel, no adjustments, and Johnny Benson on the radio said, make sure the lug nuts are tight. Ray Dunlap.
We're going to get 4 tires on this Camping World Chevrolet for Hornaday and no adjustments, but right behind him, Ted Musgrave was talking about taking only 2. They changed their mind. They'll go for 4. It'll be a 4-tire stop for Hornaday. Nice and smooth for all the guys. They're going to race the number 1 truck out. It's going to be a drag race. The 1 is going to beat him off pit road.
Johnny Benson will lose a number of positions on pit road that time. You see Johnny right there coming out right behind Ted Musgrave and in front of the 6 of Travis Kvapil. David Green, again, Jamie Jones guys with excellent pit work.
Got David Green back out onto the racetrack in front of the field. It has been a rough start to this race here at Gateway. Everything was heating up. Not only were there accidents on the track, a little bumping of the wall, but there have been some amazing passes taking place. And out in front of the field now it will be David Green. Our points battle heating up at Gateway. Race day fans, grab your cameras. We're looking for photos. Show us your colors of speed for a chance to see yourself on race day. We'll select the best photo and show it on air. It's all part of My Race Day. Upload your photos to speedtv.com, keyword My Race Day right now. Speaking of My Race Day, there's Kenny Wallace. He'll restart this race back in the 13th position. Out in the number 18 is Ken Schrader. He's currently running in the 20th spot. He gets the Aaron's Lucky Dog.
That's nice to give our Grand Marshal the lucky dog.
That's right. Coming to the green flag, it's David Green out in front of the field. A great pit stop by their team. And he will restart in the number 1 spot. And these are the first laps David Green has ever led in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series.
Ron Hornaday does not want to waste any time to try to get that lead back because he knows that 23 of Johnny Benson had a little bit difficult time on pit road again. Is back in the 5th position. Look at Ron Hornaday go for the lead on the inside.
Got the nose in the front, and David Green relegated back to 2nd now. Again, Matt Crafton in the 88 still running a lap down. So he is one of the lap down cars running up toward the front. Ray Dunlap.
Let's give a big call out to that Red Horse Racing team for an outstanding effort for David Green. On lap 58, they pitted, came in running 7th, went out 2nd. Then they pitted again here at 106, came into the pits running 4th, and went out 1st. Both times they did 4 tires, just like their competitors, picking up lots of spots for David Green and that 1 team.
And Ray, we almost, I mean, I don't want to put any added pressure on them, but we almost have to see that team do a good job on pit stops, because team owner or part team owner is Jeff Hammond, and Jeff Hammond has a school where they teach over-the-wall guys how to get better, and so you would expect them to be some of the best.
Well, they should have the cream of the crop, you would think.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Good battle back here. There's Todd Bodine battling with a 50 of TJ Bell. Josh Wise, the 00 right behind them. Todd is going to be able to get by that 50. That is a battle for the 9th position right there.
Under 50 laps of racing to go from Gateway.
Travis Kvapil, the 6. Ryan Matthews, the 22 on the inside. That's a battle for the 6th position. There's the 99 of Eric Darnell. Looks like Ryan Matthews is going to be able to take over that spot from the 6 of Travis Kvapil.
Matthews moves up to the 6th position. Kvapil drops back to 7th. They work their way through 1 and 2. Again, that's the tighter turn here at Gateway. The wider sweeping turn is 3 and 4 after they go down this long straightaway in the backstretch. Josh Wise looking to the inside of TJ Bell and that number 50. Josh Wise at the 00.
So Josh looking for a top 10 running position. There's Mike Bliss right there, the open Joyce Dodge. He's back in the 12th spot right now. As Ray mentioned earlier, Josh Wise had such a good run last night in the ARCA Remax race. Finished second for the 2nd time this year.
Sure did. Brian Clausen actually won that race. We've talked about that race a couple times from right here at Gateway for the ARCA Remax series. Sliding up the racetrack a little bit was Josh Wise, but TJ Bell holding his line around this racetrack up against the wall. And now looking to make it 3 wide. Bliss looked to the inside there. Johnny Benson took 4th away from Regan Smith. Oh, a little contact there. Ryan Matthews got into the back of the 47, and they're side by side continuing around this racetrack.
Remember, we talked about how flat these corners are in the exits. As Mike Bliss going to move to the inside of Josh Wise again. He's going to back off a little bit early, let Josh get down on the inside of that 50 truck. Ooh, Josh gets a little bit sideways.
And I think Mike Bliss sees that, and he continues to put pressure on these two drivers.
Side by side right there, teammates, the 99 of Eric Darnell, left of your screen, and the 6 of Travis Kvapil.
And this side-by-side battle, door-to-door battle for Josh Wise and TJ Bell.
Side-by-side battles all over this racetrack. Ooh, Mike Bliss going to get a good run off the corner. Going to get to the inside of Josh Wise.
A little bit slower there coming off the corner for Josh Wise as he came out of turn 4. Bliss a little quicker into the gas, and he's able to get the preferred line away from Josh Wise now and down on the lower part of the track.
There's a 51 of Kenny Wallace on the inside. He's following the screw. Willie Allen bounces off the fence coming off of 2.
That green number 13 hit the wall pretty solid there as they came out of 2. Again, a very difficult part of this racetrack. Take a look at this. Todd Bodine just behind the 6 of Travis Kvapil, right behind him Eric Darnell. And Bodine, that truck fishtailing around through the corner.
Yeah, Todd has split the teammates right here. They were side by side, Eric Darnell and the 6 of Travis Kvapil. Now Todd is in between them. Mike Hellman Jr. has continued to make that 30 truck better and better as this race has gone on.
Ray Dunlap.
Just wanted to add about Todd Bodine, guys. They really made big adjustments on this last round of pit stops at 106. 2 spring rubbers in, made a wedge adjustment, and raised the track bar, trying to loosen that thing up for Todd a little bit. He's been way tight in the center of the corner.
Here comes the 5. Mike Skinner's making his way back out onto the racetrack. Now, albeit he is down 61 laps to the rest of the field, but he's coming back out on the racetrack. That is continued work for this team.
Yeah, there are a couple trucks that have already gone out of the race that have completed more laps than Mike Skinner. If Mike is able to stay on the racetrack and stay at minimum speed, he will get at least 2 more positions. Terry Cook and the 16 of Derek Cope. That battle for 7th continues. Todd's going to look to the inside of the K&N Ford of Travis Kvapil. He's going to get up beside him, coming down the front straightaway.
Very close between those two as they work their way around this racetrack. Todd Bodine on the inside. He works all the way up the racetrack, pushing Travis Kvapil up, and the caution flag has come out once again. This time it is the 4th caution. We're hearing that the 40 of Brandon Miller has stalled on the access road. There you see him. This one coming out on lap 119. And so our 4th caution of the day has come out. Phil, I'm guessing that we're going to see everyone stay probably out on the racetrack.
Yeah, I think they're going to stay out on the racetrack. These lap times are very good. As a matter of fact, Ron Hornaday ran his fastest lap of the race, as well as David Green the very last lap. So these tires are getting better. Track's cooling off.
Spectacular weather, the crowd, a great crowd on hand here at Gateway International Raceway. We'll be back with more racing right here on Speed.
Dodge Avenger RT and Charger RT. Inspired by NASCAR. Built to grab life.
You know, all day and every day down here in the garage area, crew members are using tape measures to check out just about everything. Now, like right now, I'd like to know how big my work area is, right? So I'm going to try to get this tape out all the way down there. I'm going to lock it off. Then I got to run down here, and I got to set the end right where I want it. Come back here, and that way I can see exactly how big it is, right? Well, there's a much easier way. Craftsman has this brand new laser-guided measuring device. Now all I've got to do is sit right here, push the button, push it a second time, and it's going to tell me that it's exactly 17 foot, 2 7/16 inches from here to there. Now you can figure square area, you can figure volume, you could figure triangles like the Pythagorean theorem if you remembered how to do that. But this thing's pretty cool because I can turn it instantly from inches to metric to square foot, all kinds of great things. Where this really comes in handy is measuring frame rails on the trucks, or if you're a carpenter, you could figure out the square footage of a room in the push of 2 buttons.
A squared plus B squared equals C squared, by the way, for that theorem. Check out this tool and many other great tools at Speed on Demand. Randy Kaiser bringing the Pace truck back onto pit road, and the field still in the hands of Ron Hornaday. David Green running second, Ted Musgrave third, Johnny Benson up to fourth, Regan Smith in fifth. Green flag back in the air.
Inside of 40 laps to go, can Johnny Benson get by that 9 of Ted Musgrave, that 1 of David Green, and the 33 of Ron Hornaday?
One of the big question marks when this caution came out, though, is what was Ryan Matthews thinking coming onto pit road? He was running 5th.
Yeah, he gave up 5th spot there. Very, very difficult with no more laps than we have left. Rick Crawford was our Aaron's lucky dog. He came down pit road, but he had nothing to lose. Right. He was going to restart from the tail end of the longest line anyway.
38 laps of racing to go. Hornaday in front of David Green. And it's Ted Musgrave, Johnny Benson. And running in the 5th position is Regan Smith.
Johnny goes to the inside of Ted Musgrave. That is a battle for 3rd right there. He's moving up.
Johnny Benson looking to the inside. Now he's got David Green right in front of him. We'll see if he's able to get by him as he goes into turn 3 and 4. He makes the pass through 1 and 2 on Ted Musgrave. And now it's David Green he sets his sights on.
And that 23 Toyota is still strong. You know, you wonder after you make a pit stop, put 4 tires on, whether you make any adjustments, whether that truck's going to be as good as it was before. It sure appears as though it is.
Ray Dunlap, what did happen with the 22? Why'd they come down pit road?
Right rear tire was going flat on it, and Ryan Matthews was smart enough to catch it before the truck got into the fence. And while these guys are dejected down here, Doug Wolcott has his head down saying, oh my goodness, we gave up another great run. The bottom line is they didn't trash the truck. So heads up move for Ryan Matthews. They pulled it in. They found out the tire was going flat.
Ryan Matthews up to the 17th spot after the restart, so he'll continue to try to move up through the front. Oh, problems with TJ Bell into the wall. So the caution has come out once again.
Oh, a lot of damage to Mike Bliss's truck. Mike was running in the top 10 when this accident occurred, battling with that 50 of TJ Bell. Both of these drivers had a good run going, looking for a top 10 finish. Brand spanking new truck for Mike Bliss right there.
Was climbing out of that truck, a lot of smoke. Disconnect from the radio.
A lot of damage to the left rear corner of that truck as well as the front. You can see the damage on the left rear right there. So these caution laps are playing into Ron Hornaday's hand. The more laps they can run under caution with, not being able to pass, or more laps that Johnny Benson can't run faster than Ron Hornaday.
Hornaday has clinched the 5 points for leading the most laps. Here is another look at what just took place.
A little bit of contact right there. It looked like Mike Bliss was on the inside of that 50 of TJ Bell, and it looked like possibly Josh Wise in the 00 Aaron's Toyota might have made a little contact with Mike Bliss. That turned Mike Bliss sideways, probably caught TJ Bell with nowhere to go.
See the damage to that number 50 of TJ Bell. They're backing him up. I believe they'll take him behind the wall. So a shorter number 50 Ford, and they're going to work on that one. Hornaday out in front and leading by 25 points in the points race. Another great show here at Gateway for the fans on hand. Let's take a look at today's Just for Men Stay in the Game moment. It has to be Mike Skinner cutting the right front tire down, making a lot of damage to that number 5 Toyota Tundra, but driver Mike Skinner gets under that truck and goes to work on that truck, and the team doing an excellent job getting him back out onto the racetrack. That is our Stay in the Game with Just for Men hair color moment. Mike Skinner making his way back out on this racetrack. Take a look at our points as we stand.
There's Ron Hornaday right now with a 25-point lead as they run. As the leader, Travis Kvapil now moves only 213 points behind our new leader, Ron Hornaday. You know, Todd Bodine was 335 points out coming in this race, and quite frankly, I thought that he was probably out of it. But as we've seen today, with Mike Skinner having his trouble, anything can happen here. That brings for sure Travis Kvapil, in my estimation, right back in this thing. He's only 213 points behind right now as they run, and possibly Todd Bodine at 283 points behind. All these guys have to do is have trouble about 2 times,
right,
and that 283-point deficit that Todd Bodine has is eliminated, Ray.
Can disappear.
And guys, you know, we talked about Germain Racing at the top of the show and Ted Musgrave's future. None of the 3 Germain brothers, Rick, Steve, or Bob, are here at the racetrack this weekend, so I wasn't able to talk to any of them about the situation with the 9. But all of these guys on the crew, they definitely have heard the rumors down here. They know, and they are trying to get a great run in for Ted Musgrave tonight. They believe in their driver, and they were down at Union Station here in St. Louis just the other day, and they found this sticker, and they just put it on the box today, and it says, "Never ever give up." These guys believe in Musgrave and the 9 team. Guys?
Ted Musgrave, last 3 races, 12th, 8th, 27th a week and a half ago, and right now Ted Musgrave currently running for it. Welcome back to Gateway. Our Fastenal fast start going to John Wood. Started this race in 35th. He's made up 20 spots. He's currently running in the 15th position. And they're slow on the racetrack. They're going to red flag this one. Adam Alexander.
And the reason for the red flag, the incident on the track involving Mike Bliss. He's emerged from the infield care center. You look fine. What happened, Mike?
You know, our open joist Dodge wasn't very good at the start, and we were getting it better and better, and we were starting to creep up. And I don't know, I was underneath TJ Bell, and I got hit in the rear. I don't know who I got hit by. I know Josh was behind me, and he's a good driver. It's just unfortunate. I hate to take out TJ. That was a good run for him, but for us, you know, our open joist Dodge was probably going to head for a top 5, I thought. We were running real well right then. That's unfortunate. New truck, too. Wiped it out here at St. Louis.
Knocking on the door of another top 10 for BHR. Unfortunately, the day ends early for Mike Bliss.
So they stop him on the backstretch. They're cleaning up the debris on the racetrack in turns 3 and 4, and we're only going to have 30 laps of racing to go when they come back by the start-finish line.
The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series on Speed is presented by Dodge. Live life to the fullest. Dodge. Grab life. Brought to you in part by the official tools of NASCAR, Craftsman, and by Aaron's Sales and Lease Ownership. Nobody beats Aaron's. Nobody.
Coming up next on Speed will be the Nextel Cup Happy Hour from Fontana. So, Michael, make sure to get your fire suit on. You're going to want to get strapped into that number 55 and get back out on the racetrack.
And stop worrying about what we say about him.
That's coming up after the conclusion of this race. Again, we're under a red flag condition. Ray.
Rick, after today, there are 8 races remaining in this season, and lots of things could happen, as we saw today with Mike Skinner. But guess what? A lot of the guys down in the garage area today were keeping tabs on college football, because today was the opener of the season, and yes, Ohio State did win, and Michigan got beat. But when we start talking about college football, you remember the facts that all the guys get rewarded with little stickers that go on their helmets. Well, David Green's team has had an unbelievable day today. They have gotten him lots of positions in the pits, and check this out. These guys have the same program going on. Whenever you have a good day based on performance, they get little stickers, little horseshoes for good luck to remind these guys just how good a job they've been doing. Today, David Green is in second position basically because of the work of this crew, and they're all going to get some nice little stickers to reward them. Adam?
If he's going to hold on to second or even win this race, one of the guys he'll have to beat is Johnny Benson. Johnny's crew chief is Trip Bruce. You guys have been solid throughout the day on the track. Some hiccups on the pit road situation. Tell us what you think for these final laps, Trip.
Well, we've been talking about it, whether, we can get it done or not, and I feel like you can. Sun's setting here on this run, so things are changing for everybody, and, to be honest, I think it's going to make everybody a little bit better is what that'll do. But we've got a real solid truck. The pit road thing, it's hurt us a few times this year, and they're hard to come back from, but Johnny's giving it his best here, so we'll hang in there with him.
What about the long green flag run when he came back after you guys missed the lug nut and he drives from 21st to the top 5 in like 30 laps?
For a minute there, it reminded me of Bristol. You can't go to the rear halfway through and come all the way back. It was kind of the same scenario. He went back to the tail end of the lead lap trucks and just knifed his way back through there. Like I said, this Exide batteries, the certified Toyota Tundra has been fast all weekend, practice, everything. So we got what it takes to win here, so we'll just hang in there.
A lot of folks in the garage area saying they like Johnny Benson today, and so far, JB is backing it up. He's third under the caution, Ray.
Hey, Adam, Rick Wren has been counting the laps here of all the ones that Ron Hornaday led, and we have confirmed that they get the most bonus points today, so they'll pick up an extra 10. But, Rick, we notice right now that the sun is just about to drop behind the grandstand here. How's that going to change this racetrack?
Well, the racetrack should just get faster because the grip's going to come up. Last night, we did not see a balance change in our truck because last practice started about this time last night. So I'm just anticipating we get faster. Hopefully we don't get tighter.
Aside from the fact that Skinner had trouble today, how good is your race truck? Did you think it was good enough to win with?
Yeah, we felt like we had a really good race truck. I mean, from everything we saw in practice yesterday, we were worried about the 23. And we knew the 23 was good yesterday, and I don't know. If he can get to us, he might get by us. I mean, I just don't know if we got enough for the 23. I don't think we got to worry about anybody else, but the 23's been pretty strong.
Okay, good luck for you the rest of the day. Once again, guys, I told you they have chassis number 16. This truck has 2 second places, and they're hoping tonight it gets its first win.
See that one truck right there, the Red Horse Racing number 1 Toyota, David Green. Let's see if we can talk to David. Hey, David Green, Phil Parsons, can you hear me?
Hey, Phil, got you.
Great run so far for you guys, and I'll tell you, your pit crew has been on the money. Both pit stops gained a bunch of spots here. You've got Hornaday, who's been strong, led a lot of this race in front of you, and that 23, I know that he's been fast. What do you got for these guys?
Well, Phil, it's been a great day for our RFM, Toyota. Jamie and all the pit crew guys, they should all do an awesome job. Makes my job even tougher, but hey, Johnny and Ron's the masters of this truck racing. I'm still trying to learn it, so got a couple of good guys around me, and I'll see what we can do here. But our truck's pretty good, so I'm a little loose right now, but I'm hoping this cycling the tires will bring some bite back to me. So be a good race to finish.
All right, David, you got to see if you can bring that home with a good top 3 run. Good job, buddy.
Thanks, Bill.
Only in the NASCAR scene do you get to talk to the players while they're on the surface, while they're out there on the actual racing surface. You can't talk to a football player when he's in the middle of a huddle or anything like that, but you can talk to the players here.
With about 1 minute to go on this last lap before the restart, before they get going at 160 miles an hour down the straightaway. So we sure appreciate all the guys that take the time out to talk to us when we get a chance.
And riding along with a few different drivers, Ted Musgrave running in that 4th position. And Johnny Benson just in front of him. Our points, as of now, 22 separate Hornaday and Skinner. Skinner could grab another 3 points here as he will try to pass Derek Cope Derek Cope scored in the 28th position, but he's no longer on the racetrack. Skinner is 64 laps down to our leader, Ron Hornaday. Right now, Derek Cope has scored 61 laps down, so that will be, I believe, the only other driver that he can catch on the racetrack to gain another spot. So he'll probably end up about 19 points down to Hornaday at the end of this race.
Yeah, this is something that these drivers have not run into in the past races here because they've all been at night. The sun is an issue right there. You can see Ted Musgrave. You see he's got his visor down there so he shields his eyes a little bit here.
Again, this race normally run at night. Green flag back in the air. Hornaday in front of David Green and Johnny Benson.
Let's see how quickly that Johnny Benson can try to get by the one of David Green so he can chase down that 33 of Ron Hornaday. Johnny moves to the outside.
It takes him very little time to make that decision in front of the one already, and so now he will try to chase down the 33 of Hornaday.
Yeah, Johnny did it quick now. Now he can measure up how he compares to this 33. He knows Ron Hornaday's been good. He feels like he's got a better truck. But Rick Renn's been adjusting on that 33 truck, too. He hasn't just sat back and said, this is the best we've got. We're going to leave it.
The last time the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race, it was Johnny Benson finding victory lane at Bristol. And now he is trying to chase down that 33 of Ron Hornaday. Side-by-side racing. Dennis Setzer on the inside of that 899 of Eric Darnell. That's not for position, but Darnell taking the spot. We see that South Point Chevrolet of Brendan Gaughan trying to move back toward the front. A good qualifying effort for Brendan today. Was up in the 5th position, but then dropped back, now making his way back up into the top 10.
You saw Josh Wise trying to get by the 51 truck of Kenny Wallace right there. The 13 is right on the inside of him. That's Willie Allen, rookie contender. Going to make a little contact move. Kenny way up the hill. Here comes Rick Crawford. Remember, he got the Aaron's Lucky Dog. He's back on the lead lap.
And Crawford, little contact there with Willie Allen as they race down the backstretch. They're side by side, door to door. As Crawford trying to take the position away from Willie Allen. That is for 12.
Yeah, Chad McCumbee, the 8, he joins that battle as well as the 22 of Ryan Matthews. We know Ryan Matthews has had a top 5 truck here tonight. Had that tire going down, had to make a late pit stop.
25 laps to go, and things are heating up on the racetrack. Hornaday with just a 0.3 of a second lead over Johnny Benson. That's about 4 truck lengths. And problems with David Starr. Starr into the wall in that 10. 6th caution of the day.
A lot of damage to the back end of that Max Force Ford of David Starr.
I said caution. It has not come out as of yet.
They are going to stay green. David Starr gets that truck refired.
He's running down the racetrack. A lot of damage to the back, but he didn't drop anything on the racetrack, so we will stay under green flag conditions.
Yeah, NASCAR will closely monitor this situation to make sure that no debris comes off of that number 10. Johnny Benson's catching that 33.
Right on the back bumper now of Ron Hornaday is Johnny Benson.
This is probably one of the toughest guys in the entire series, maybe in all of NASCAR, to try to pass. We know Johnny's got a great truck, but right now he's right behind that 33. The 33 can watch that mirror and put his truck where Johnny is.
Ron Hornaday up on the wheel, knows that Johnny Benson has a strong truck right behind him. Wants to stay out in front, grab another win in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series and continue to add to his record number of wins that he has, which is 32. His last win came at ORP earlier this year.
Gee, Johnny wants to just hold what he has here till they get a little more heat in these tires. Just coming off this caution flag. Everyone's tires cool off a little bit. Johnny's truck has been so good on the long run. He's going to try to wait Ron out here.
22 laps of racing to go, and I'm not sure Ron is going to want to give him any opportunity to get by.
Well, he's not going to. He's certainly not going to want to, and not going to make it easy for Johnny. That's for sure. Separation,
25/100ths of a second. The last time they went by the start-finish line.
Johnny looks like he can get to his tailgate, and then he can't really do anything with it. He's going to have to run where Ron isn't.
Now right up on his back bumper once again. Johnny Benson looking a little bit higher, running a little higher line through 1 and 2. Onto the back stretch they go. And this is where Hornaday's been able to put a little bit more distance between himself and that Toyota of Johnny Benson. This time it's just over a truck link that separates them as they go into 3.
Johnny wants to pull right up on his tailgate, try to get Ron loose a little bit. Not been able to do it. There's a battle. Ryan Matthews, the 22, and the 13, and Willie Allen. That is a battle for the 12th spot.
Future leader Ron Hornaday, the blue number 33, Camping World Chevrolet, right behind him.
Remember how Johnny was able to make the pass on the outside of that one truck of David Green. It looks like Ron is able to keep that truck right down on the bottom of the racetrack. Johnny tries to peek inside him, not in your room down there. He may have to use that outside groove down on 1 and 2.
Looking a little bit higher as they exit turn number 4 and across the start finish line, this time by 19 laps of racing to go, and it's still Hornaday in front of Johnny Benson. Now Benson running a little bit higher line through 1 and 2 again.
Ron had a little faster lap time that time. Remember, Johnny was right on his tailgate. Then Ron opened up about a 2 trunk length lead that time. See if Johnny can pull right up on his rear bumper again.
Again, while all this is happening, it's Hornaday, Benson, David Green running 3rd, Ted Musgrave 4th, 5th is Todd Bodine, then it's Regan Smith, Travis Kvapil, Eric Darnell, Brendan Gaughan, and Josh Wise, your top 10.
Come to the laps running out. There's Brendan Gaughan. What a great run he's having in a backup truck. There's Rick Crawford going by Josh Wise in a battle for the 10th position, or trying to go by Josh Wise.
A little bit loose there, and the number 14 catches it. They go side by side as they make their way down the backstretch.
Yeah, Rick not able to hold it there. He could not get down on the throttle coming off that corner. Remember, Rick had that flat tire earlier. Johnny Benson again right on the tailgate of the 33 of Ron Hornaday.
Can he peek to the inside? Doesn't look like he's going to be able to do it this time, Ray.
Hornaday is looking for his 4th win of the season, guys, and if he's able to hold on and get this victory, it would be the 4th win in 4 different trucks. He won in truck 14 at Charlotte, 04 at Dover, and 15 at IRP. This is chassis 16 tonight, so 4 different wins in 4 different trucks. That just shows you the strength of KHI. Ron Hornaday, Rick Wren, and this whole group able to make all kinds of different trucks work very well at different tracks.
A little bit of wiggle down there for Ron Hornaday for just a moment. Never got out of the throttle. You know, David Green has not gone anywhere. He's right with these guys. He's only about 0.8 of a second behind. He's actually closed in a couple tenths of a second in the last couple laps.
And Ray just mentioned the fact that this could be the 4th different truck they win, and that really is a compliment to the communication between Ron Hornaday and Rick Wren. I mean, he's able to set up, Rick Wren's able to set up any truck that he puts underneath Ron Hornaday, and that's really the key to winning in this series. Is you've got to have great communication between crew chief and driver.
Yeah, and that's a sign of a good race team, too, when they have 4 trucks like this capable of winning. It's one thing to have 1 great truck, but to have 4 trucks that you can win with. And I'm telling you, Johnny is trying to work that outside line, but Ron is so good on the bottom. Johnny, Hornaday gets loose off the corner.
Hornaday looks like he may have slapped the wall a bit as they came out of turn number 2. Johnny Benson all over the back bumper. This time, Johnny Benson looks as though he's going to try to peek to the inside. Still can't get that front bumper up close enough to get it on the inside of the quarter panel.
Ron stays right on the bottom of the racetrack. He's telling Johnny Benson, if you're going to pass me, you're going to do it on the outside.
Hornaday hugging that white line. Johnny Benson riding a little bit higher on the racetrack through 1 and 2 again. This is where they came out, and Hornaday got so close to that wall as they came out the last lap.
Remember, just a lap ago, look at Ron Hornaday coming off of turn number 2. He's going to get real loose up off the corner. He may even have missed it by about 1/8 of an inch.
Almost slapped the corner there.
I'm telling you, Johnny Benson is running out of time, and there's David Green. He's actually catching this group a little bit. These trucks are very, very evenly matched right now. Look at Johnny go to the outside again.
David Green trying to improve as this time Ron Hornaday stays to the inside. It looks as though Hornaday not able to hold on to that lead, and Johnny Benson takes over the lead.
I'll tell you, that looked like point racing to me, because it looked like Ron Hornaday may have had him cleared by just a little bit, and I think they have the big picture in mind there. They said, okay, we can push the issue, maybe make contact, or maybe I can let him go, and we're going to have a point lead.
We saw the crippled Skinner just behind them as they go by, and Hornaday knows that big picture is he is now leading in the championship run after Skinner has his problems today. Now Johnny Benson trying to put some distance between himself and Ron Hornaday inside of 12 laps of racing to go from Gateway.
Look at the big opening, the big gap right now Johnny Benson has over Ron Hornaday. The last thing Johnny wants right now is a caution flag. He does not want to have to contend with Ron Hornaday on a cool tire restart situation.
Johnny Benson, Ron Hornaday 1 and 2. That time by, it was a half a second difference between 1 and 2. The points as they run now between Hornaday and Skinner, just 4 separating the two, right?
And Skinner could pull that truck into the garage right now, I believe, guys. Looking at the scoring monitor, he's shown in 28th place with 84 laps complete, and he cannot gain another position right now on any of the other competitors with the remaining amount of laps left here. So it looks like Skinner's going to finish right there, and Hornaday will either get a first or a second possibly today. Adam?
Let's talk a little bit about Josh Wise racing to the inside here of Brendan Gaughan, trying to capture his first ever top 10 of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. A name we've been hearing for a while, but guys, when you talk about experience, Wise is limited. I think his talent's starting to be known in the Truck Series, and of course he had a great ARCA run here yesterday.
Josh Wise up into the 10th position as we have inside of 10 laps of racing to go. Rick Crawford running on the high side here in the number 14.
What a tremendous battle for 9th on back right there. Brendan Gaughan has 9th. Ooh, Rick Crawford bounces off the wall.
Hard into the wall, Rick Crawford, the number 14.
That's going to allow the 22 of Ryan Matthews to get by, as well as the 88 Matt Crafton to get up beside him.
And there's sparks flying out from underneath that number 14. Let's see how much damage has actually been done if he can keep that thing up to speed on the racetrack.
Rick lost a couple spots, but appears to be up to speed. Let's take a look back at what happened coming off that corner. You see Rick Crawford way wide there, makes some pretty hard contact, and then bounces in the 22 of Ryan Matthews.
That was coming off of turn number 4. There's Rick Crawford now as we run inside of 8 laps of racing to go. Johnny Benson out in front of Ron Hornaday. He has almost a second lead over Hornaday.
David Green continues to run in 3rd. Ted Musgrave 4th. Todd Bodine, the 30 truck, in 5th. And Regan Smith with a good run in 6th. Maybe his career best finish if he can hold off the 6th of Travis Kvapil for 7th. There's Travis Kvapil right there, the K&N Filters Ford. He's got his teammate, the 99 of Eric Donnell, right behind him. That's 7th and 8th. There's the 47 right there, the Ginn Resort Chevrolet of Morgan Dollar Racing. Regan Smith has a good run going. Could be a career best.
Ryan Matthews making his way by the 77 of Brendan Gaughan. It looks as though Gaughan struggling to keep up to the pace now as Matt Crafton looks to the inside of him. Crafton on the lead lap, trying to get by Brendan Gaughan for the 11th position right now. That's where they're running side by side. Crafton will take that position away from the South Point Chevrolet.
Remember, Matt Crafton had a flat tire early, a flat left front tire. Stayed patient, kept working, got the lucky dog, and now battling in the top 10, or for a top 10 position.
Inside of 5 laps remaining, Johnny Benson with over a second lead on Ron Hornaday. The laps just clicking away for Johnny Benson, the strongest truck on the racetrack all day, and now problems for David Green. David Green with a right front tire blown, and he's on the racetrack right in the racing line as they swerve around to try to avoid him.
I don't see a great deal of debris right now. NASCAR is monitoring this. They have to watch for debris. David is to the inside of the racetrack. He will be able to hit the access road. That may keep the green flag out. What a horrible break though for David Green.
Oh yeah, that right front tire about to come off, but does not. It will be 3 laps of racing to go as we see David Green stays on the access road and will make it onto pit road. Johnny Benson now with a 2.5 lead over Ron Hornaday. So a disappointing day for David Green as he ran so strongly today. Led laps here at Gateway, his first ever laps in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series led. And now the problems at the end of this race will send him onto pit road. His crew will have to change that tire and try to get him back out there to finish this race.
Had a sure third place finish if this doesn't happen. Tough break for David Green, but that's a team that you'll have to contend with before this season's out.
6, the position that teammates are battling for now. Travis Kvapil in the 6 in front of the 99 of Eric Darnell. Again, that's for the 6th position.
Yeah, David Green's misfortune has moved all these trucks up a notch. That puts Ted Musgrave, the 9 in 3rd, Todd Bodine 4th, and the 47 of Regan Smith up into a top 5.
Under 2 laps of racing to go. This time by Johnny Benson is going to see the white flag, meaning 1.25 miles to go for Johnny Benson to see if he can notch his 8th career win in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. It would be the 3rd win of 2007. It would also be a back-to-back win in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series for Johnny Benson. Under 1 mile to go for Benson.
Good battle right there, the 00, Josh Wise, Ryan Matthews. That's a battle for the 8th spot. Again, they've got 1 lap to go. Johnny Benson looking for his 8th career win in the last 2 years. Ryan Matthews sideways.
Ryan Matthews, he'll get spun around. The white flag continues to fly as Matthews up against the wall. Johnny Benson is making his way out of turn number 4, and the caution flag will fly. Johnny Benson crosses the start-finish line. Again, he already took the white flag as the caution came out, so that will be the end of the race.
Yeah, now the flagman is waving the checkered flag. Johnny did not get the checkered flag when he came off turn 4 that time, but now you can see the flagman waving the checkered flag. The race is official once the leader takes the white flag if the caution comes out.
Johnny Benson did have that white flag. You see Benson will get congratulated by teammate
Toyota
teammate Ted Musgrave. That is the 9th win for Toyota in 2007. Adam Alexander.
And it's the 7th win in 2007 for Bill Davis Racing. 3rd for Johnny Benson. Trent Bruce had to tell him on the radio he was the winner. He wasn't sure it was over, but congratulations. That's 2 in a row for you guys.
Yeah, I believe the rule is that caution on the white flag and it's over right there. But, you know, he wanted to make sure. Thank you. It was a good race.
A solid run for Johnny Benson. He may not have dominated this race on paper, but he had the best truck without a doubt, guys.
Dejected Rick Wren here, standing on top of the pit box, just kind of overseeing things.
He's going to have a pretty good consolation in the fact that he's probably going to leave here with a point lead.
Coming into the race, he was 92 points down to Mike Skinner. Skinner has problems, and so now the point differential, we believe, just 4 points separating Hornaday and Skinner. Celebration starts, though, for Johnny Benson. 2 in a row in the 2000 season. For Johnny Benson, he won at Bristol a week and a half ago, and now takes the checkered flag here at Gateway. Welcome back to the Missouri-Illinois Dodge Dealers Ram Tough 200 post-race show. The celebration just kicking off in Victory Lane as the 23 will pull into Victory Lane. That team already there waiting for him to celebrate. One truck that's probably not celebrating as much as they would have wanted, though, is the 33 of Ron Hornaday, right?
Actually, doing a little interviews down here real quick. We'll jump in with Ron Hornaday. And just an outstanding effort today. Not quite enough right there at the end. What happened to your race truck?
Nothing happened to it. We knew the thing would take off fast. And Rick Wren and all the guys done a great job on this Camping World Chevrolet. And I got to thank Todd Bear, Kevin Harvick, and Danny. Everybody has been working their guts out. And, you know, we didn't turn the screw on this thing all weekend. We tried stuff and put it right back to where we unloaded. And if I'd known what I know now, what the thing was going to do, I'd have freed it up a little bit more. But, yeah, he just got us. I mean, we just can't. He got us at the other end. We brought a motor. Got to thank Richard Childress for doing what they've done and got us up off the bottom, and we were killing them off the bottom. It just they had a little bit more at the other end, and you know, we put a spring rubber in the right rear, and that probably what's hurt us down the end of the straightaway. But unbelievable. I got to thank Kevin Delana and Chevrolet and RVs.com and Dollar General, you name it. It takes a lot to do this, and to come out of here and to run like we've done, that's what it takes.
And you leave here with a 4-point lead in the points. That's Ron Hornaday. Let's go to Victory Lane and Adam Alexander.
And here comes Johnny Benson, climbing out a winner for the 8th time in his career, the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. And a well-deserved honor here today. It may not show it on paper, but you were a dominating race truck. Talk about the yo-yo back and forth and finally ending in the front.
If it wasn't for Trip Bruce giving me such a great race truck, I'd have never been able to do that. You know, we just had a little mess up in the pit road, and I really didn't think there's no way we get this Toyota certified used vehicles Tundra up front. And TRD engine shop, this thing ran awesome all day. It's good in practice, good in qualifying. I mean, I was going out second. I was pretty happy with that. Got to thank, Valvoline, Bosch, Exide batteries, everybody on board. Mintex brakes. If I didn't have them babies on our day, we'd have never made it up to front. I abused the heck out of the truck, and just that was fun, but it was a tough battle.
Now you came back all the way to Hornaday's rear. Didn't know if you were going to get him. What about going to the outside with 13 to go to pass for the lead?
Well, he was struggling down there. He was really good in 3 and 4, and he could come up off the corner really strong, and it was. That's where he was beating me. I thought there's no way I'm going to get him, so I kept working on him. He was pretty loose, so I just bided my time. I knew that I could make a dive bomb on him going into 3, but I didn't really want to do that because I figured that we'd probably both get together. So I just kept inching up, and he kept moving up a little bit, but I just kept clean. I could have probably done it 3 or 4 laps ago, but I really wanted to make sure if I got there, I was there because, otherwise they just, they squeeze you coming up off 2. I had to make sure I was beside him, and me and Ron are great competitors. We run side by side a lot and seem to not bump and bang, so that was pretty good to be able to get on the outside of him and be clean off 2. Because I knew once I got off 2, I thought I'd be all right. So these guys are awesome. They build great race trucks. Like I say, TRD, John Dyksender in the engine department. Couldn't ask for anything better.
Nobody's passed as many trucks as Johnny Benson in the last 2 weeks, and it pays off with 2 victories last week at Bristol and today at Gateway International Raceway.
Over a 100-point swing for Johnny Benson. Came into the race in 6th in the point standings, moves up to 5th. He's now only 420 points out of the lead. 4 points separate your top 2 in the run for the 07 championship.
2 weeks from today, New Hampshire International Speedway sets the backdrop for a dramatic run to the championship. Mike Skinner has set a blazing trail, finishing outside the top 10 only once. Will former Loudon winners Ron Hornaday and Travis Quaffle be able to put a halt to Skinner's domination? Catch the setup with Chris Devoda starting at 2:30 p.m., followed by the green flag, live only on Speed.
The halt happened today at the Gateway to the West. Mike Skinner having problems and losing the points lead. Johnny Benson, no problems today as he was able to come home victorious. Career best for Regan Smith and Josh Wise today, so great top 10 runs for those two.
See Rick Crawford battle back from adversity. Flat Tire gets back to Lucky Dog, gets in 11th spot. Willie Allen with a good run in his rookie season, finishes 12th. And Herman finishes 13th, and Billy Ballou's number 51.
St. Louis native there, able to grab a top 15 performance in that truck. Terry Cook coming home in 30th today in the number 59 after troubles.
Yeah, had such a good truck too the entire weekend. Unfortunate for him. Jack Sprague has trouble, finishes in 32nd. And Joey Clan had a good truck and gets taken out in an accident, finishes 34th.
Ray Dunlap.
Absolutely great run for both of the Germain Racing teams. Ted Musgrave, you started all the way back in 17th and worked your way up to 3rd. What a great day.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I know qualifying we were really loose, but as the sunshine goes away from this racetrack, it's pretty tight. Sure enough, I ended up a little tight, but a nice job. Don't get me wrong, top 5, top 3, we'll take that. But, man, anything short of a win here at Gateway for me is almost like a failure, but love this place. I'm going to come back each and every year.
All right, good luck to you. He's got 2 wins here, and now he gets his 5th finish of 3rd or better. Let's hear from his teammate.
And a solid day for Todd Bodine, 4th. It was good at the end of the day as far as results, but you guys had a heck of a day to get there, Todd.
Yeah, we had a heck of a weekend. The truck was just terrible in practice, and we changed the setup twice and still didn't like it, and started a race with a whole different setup, and took the whole race to get it right, but they got it right at the end. It was really good. A little bit too tight still, but I could drive it, and it was comfortable, and I could make passes and do things. So, the motto of this team is never give up, and we never do, and we come back with a 5th. I'm proud of this Lumber Liquidators team, and the Tundra ran great, and can't wait to get home to the Tiki Hut.
Germain Racing 1-2 a year ago, 3-4 here today, guys.
Mike Skinner starting on the pole, his first hiccup in the 2007 campaign for the championship. And that enables Johnny Benson to not only win this race, but move up in the point standings. And now Ron Hornaday is our new points leader.
Yeah, Ron Hornaday's been so consistent this year. 11th, his worst finish. Every other finish, obviously top 10s. He is in control right now, albeit just by 4 points.
It was a tough day for quite a few, but a great day for Johnny Benson. Johnny Benson winning here at Gateway, and we will head now to Fontana and Randy Pemberton out there for Cup
This
Happy Hour.
telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of NASCAR Broadcasting. NASCAR would like to thank all of our loyal fans for your continued support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.